together as a community. And it's a big responsibility on our shoulders as elected officials to do what is in the best for the community. And I just ask that this meeting is without contentious and it is run accordingly to your will, and that we make decisions that sometimes are tough but are pleasing to you. And these things I offer up in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, if we could have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Haley is running late. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Garber.
Here.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Shepard.
Here.
And Chairman Broder.
Here. At this time, I would ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Support.
A motion with support. Any changes? Any discussion on the agenda? All right. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved. At this point, I would look for a motion to approve the minutes of the April 9th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
Support.
A motion with support. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. Now, at this time, we move on to the approval of the bills. Commissioner Garber, please.
Thank you. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 4/10, 4/11, 4/17, 4/18, 4/24, 4/25, 5/1, 5/12, 5/18, or 5/8, 5/9, 5/15, and 5/16 in the amount of $12,502,000.36 and authorize Treasury to draw warrants for that amount.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote, please. Please note that Commissioner Haley is now here.
Yes. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Garber.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard.
Yes.
Commissioner Haley.
Here.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I was blending my yes.
Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
2 for 1.
Well done. All right, at this point, we have our first opportunity for the public to address this board. Let me remind you that there is a limit of 3 minutes, and this is the same 3 minutes at the end of the meeting. Please address your comments to the chair. I have a number of slips here. First one is Rick. Rick, I can't figure out the last name.
Goki?
That's it. Is it Goki?
Yep.
Okay.
I come up here.
Please do. Thank you.
My name is Rick Goki. It's my wife over here, Mandy. We are the owners of All Star Towing. We've been in business for 16 years. And just like appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. So I didn't know anything about this, the RFP. We have an email. I filled it out. Didn't know much about contracts or how all this stuff worked or bids. We do have a bid for the city of Owasso that we've had for 3 years. And I just want to say thanks for taking your time with us, all of us record guys, I guess, for the concerns. And like I said, we started out with 1 wrecker 16 years ago, and we have 10 wreckers now with heavy duty equipment. We do heavy duty crashes, hauling, cleanup, all that kind of stuff that goes along with the heavy duty stuff here in the county. So other than that, I appreciate everybody's time and patience with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rob, I think it's Lepley.
Is it protocol to, when this changes in the towing, that the board vote on this? And second, how is people notified of this new towing contract or whatever? Was it in a paper or is it emailed or how? I got singled out.
Public comment is for the public to comment. It's not a question and answer period. So
Well,
you can
those are
ask
my
those
questions.
questions if you want them to be rhetorical.
I know you're not gonna answer right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Those are my questions.
All right, I just want to seem rude. Thank you. Chandler, I think it's Buck.
Chandler Gaffney Town, there's some papers for you. I made a paint
We don't generally do that, but if you want to give them to Caroline.
Touching base on Monday night, Deputy Carson acknowledged the county impounds about 242 cars a year, I believe he said. That might have been impounds, but I went back and did some research on our digital dispatch. Us alone, we do 242 calls just for the county. And then with MSP, we did about 404. And so my point with that is giving it all to one company, that's a lot of calls for one company to undertake. And I see it put more stress on the county, waiting and hurting many other businesses as well. So those were my points there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Joe, I can't.
Audio?
No, is it AV?
I don't know how to spell. Audio?
I apologize.
AVIA.
I think it must be traditional for Riker people to have as poor of, penmanship as I
I'm gonna be a
have.
doctor, but
Yes,
that
all
didn't
of
work out,
I didn't know that was a thing with your profession.
so no offense.
All of you guys, please have, a wife or someone fill these out in the future. I'd appreciate it.
My name's Joe Audia. I own Joe's Body Shop
Audia.
here. And Tony. I wanted to start by, Cindy, the other day, Monday, you said that you trust their opinions. How long have you known Doug and Corey? Just out of a question. And I'm not coming at this combative. I want you to know that.
Please address your comments to the
Oh,
chair.
okay.
We don't do question and answer during
Oh,
public
okay. Well,
comment.
I didn't know. Let me say that I've known them a long time. I know Corey. I don't know that. I say we're friends, but we're not. I mean, we haven't done stuff together. So, but we are friendly. Doug is a very good friend. I think the other night when he said he had a friend here, I think he was talking about me. Doug and I are good friends. I love Doug, okay? I thought about this the other night. This contract stuff bothers me. It really does, and it did from the beginning, simply because there's so many people here that are constituents of this county that have run towing for 20, 30 years. That's their whole livelihood. They've got money invested, time. I mean, when you guys are running for re-election or election, it's them you come to. When the schools need something, it's them you go to. I hate to see, some of these guys aren't gonna make it if they get taken off rotation. I think Doug is doing what he thinks is right, and I think it's because of people around him that maybe have convinced him that it's right. I personally don't think it is. Like I said, I love Doug. He's went through stuff. We've helped each other out, and I think the world of him. I do. The other night it bothered me. I was angry, and then I thought about it, and then I was hurt. But I also thought, this guy's my friend. I have to look past this and just focus on what's happening. About October, like I said, we're friends. Doug called me. And he said, look, we're thinking about going to contract towing. And I respect your opinion. I want to know what you think. And I said, look, Doug, I'm against it. And he said, why? I said, it cuts out all the little people.
You'll have another opportunity toward the
that's
end of it, the second public comment. You'll have another 3
All
minutes
right.
if you'd like.
I knew 3 minutes wasn't going to be enough.
Sorry. Dean Gaffner, please.
How you doing? Dean Gaffner, Towing Recovery. When we were here on Monday night, The sheriff said that no one had called him to complain or do anything about the RFP. Well, the first page of the RFP was bidders or their representatives are prohibited from talking to the county employees regarding the RFP. All technical questions were supposed to be addressed to Corey Carson by email only. So that's probably why he didn't get any calls on it. But once everybody listened. Document 1, I emailed in the documents I gave you guys. I emailed Corey Carson on 5/1 with concerns on how and when the process would take place, and I still have not had a response. When I looked through over the RFP that you guys were getting the other night, I noticed my equipment list was missing out of there. I gave you guys an equipment list just so that you have that. And now the stuff that I really don't like to do. I mean, reflecting back onto the RFP for like disqualifications of driver. It says here, a driver may be denied based on any misdemeanor or felony charges that appear on criminal background checks. A driver may have no pending, open, or unresolved court or criminal matters. This includes uncompleted, diversion, and unpaid judgments. Same thing for a dispatcher. For a dispatcher of the company, a dispatcher may be denied, same exact thing. They may have no pending or open or unresolved court cases. Now that being said, it's public knowledge that there's an open litigation against All Star Towing right now in the district court. And you guys have copies of that. You know, I mean, there's a past of felonies there. 3 different counties, Shiawassee, Saginaw, and Hingham. And then when looking at some of the drivers, one of them is a sex offender with 4th degree CSC. Now that's all in there, everything is in the documents. I fail to understand everything we have to bring to the county and everything we've brought forward, how they can be a better pick for the county than what we brought. So, I guess that's it.
Thank you. Joe Binke?
Thank you. I'm Joe Bickey. I'm the Hastings Township Supervisor, brand new this past election time, and I'm here representing our township in the resolution you have before you tonight, 25-0505, assigning and delegating enforcement to Hastings Township. So appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you. All right, I have no more slips. Is there anyone else? Yes, please, when you're done, please fill out a slip though.
Okay.
Go ahead, tell us who you are, and at the end, fill out a slip for us, all right?
Okay, I'm Richard Mauer from Dick's Auto Service. First thing I want to know is why would you want to give all the business in the whole county to one person? I don't see any reason for that whatsoever. And Rick said he got the city coin. What he did, Dean bid 150, I bid 150. Rick came in, bid 75, and they gave him all the work. Took it away from me. His first tow job, he towed out of my lot for the city. He charged me $75 plus $150 for 12-hour storage. And that wasn't on the list, on the bid list. But our city's kind of like shady over there. So I just can't figure out why you'd want to take the business from all these people here and give it to that guy right there. I don't understand that at all. And he don't have a good reputation. So I just don't understand this at all. And I don't think it's fair. And I know there's something else going on under the table around here. And I don't know what it is, but we're gonna find out. Because this isn't right. Maybe we should eliminate the sheriff's department and have state police take over all their jobs. Maybe you guys would know how we feel when you're doing that to us. Because that's what you're doing. You're gonna take work away from everybody and give it to one person. And like the city of Owasso, they took the work away from me who has 2 houses and 2 properties in the city, and they gave it to somebody who's not even in this city. But that bid's gonna come up again, so I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna bid $0, and I'm gonna charge everybody a whole bunch of other fees, like storing and a pickup fee and a gate fee, and a whole bunch of fees, and I'm gonna charge them $500 on my $0 bid, and according to the city of Owasso, that's perfectly legal. Is that what we're gonna do here or what? I just don't understand this. So that's what I got to say, so.
Sir.
Just if you'd fill out one of those slips and hand it to,
Oh, there's one right here.
thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, we will move on. We'll move on to committee reports. Commissioner Shepherd, how about if we start with you today?
Well, I'm on the 911 committee, and I regret to inform that I missed the last meeting with conflict of the computer issue that I wasn't getting emails. And I'm also on the SCOA committee, and we've been discussing the possible handover of the Morris building because the county's not able to give us additional finances to do repairs on the building. It's in great disrepair because of the windowsills leaking, and the way the roof was made, it allows the water to come right down into the windowsills and then goes down in between the concrete blocks, which is causing it to separate and split apart the building foundation. SCOA shouldn't be responsible for all these repairs that we have for a building that is essential for senior citizens to come join with each other for community events and receive meals at lower rate. Typically it's about $3 a donation for a meal. So all that in perspective, we would only have the senior citizen hall in Durand and the senior citizen hall in Owasso. And I'm sure Gary can fill you in a little bit more too. I'm also on the I-69 Region 5 trade corridor account, and I'm the vice chair there. We haven't had a whole lot of issues other than just discussing the finances of our region.
Question for you, Commissioner. I'm on VAAA, which is sort of the larger umbrella Valley Area Agency on Aging, and they're sitting on, believe it or not, $20 million. Do you know what the relationship is between SCOA and VAAA? Do you think there's is there any kind of a process where SCOA could ask them for the money to make their repair?
I've been told that they're not responsible for our repairs in this county.
Okay.
Just,
I'm not quite sure what their money is for, if not that sort of thing, but I'll see if I can find out.
we're also looking for other grants.
All right, thank you. Commissioner?
Yeah, the planning commission met and we approved a asphalt plant over by between Perry and Morris in a already existing commercial development area. So that's great. Great to see businesses coming into the county. And then Parks and Rec, we met, and of course the parks are being mowed very frequently, and there's getting lots of use. So that's good to see, and hopefully it'll warm up here someday, and we can get out and enjoy more. But other than that, just looking at in the parks, what's the next big project we can really sink our teeth into. So good work there. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Haley.
I don't have too much, but I also on Parks and Rec with Commissioner Howard, and one of the items that came up is a lot of the equipment in different parks are a little bit outdated, and the state has some new regulations that we're having to figure out if they meet those, and that was sort of the discussion we'll have in terms of what big projects next. So that's where we're at there.
Thank you. Commissioner Garber.
I have nothing this month, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes, I'm on the SEDP. That's Justin Horvath with all the businesses. A lot of them have joined that. He gets all kinds of grants for all kinds of projects, meetings for AI and all the new things that are going on. So, I'm on the Shiawassee Council on Aging, and I was at the meeting today, was having a big discussion. Like he said, the Morris Center is beyond repair. They donated it to us, and it was an old school, and I think we're gonna have to give it up. It's gonna cost more than what we can afford to keep it up. Also, I'm on the Health Department with Larry Johnson. With funding, that's been cut back over there, so he had to lay off or move around. Some people are about ready to retire, so they're gonna retire sooner. A couple of them, or another person's gonna come back part-time as a contract person to help save money. Also, I'm on the mental health board. Things are tight over there too. The federal and the state is cutting back on all their money for all the mental health. We have over $20 million budget, and things are tough there, so that's my report.
Thank you very much. All right then, let's move on to committee motions. Commissioner Howard, can we start with you, please?
Absolutely. I move to approve the rehabilitation mortgage discharge for Lois Ann Beebe of 508 East Main Street, Owasso, Michigan. Support.
I've got a motion with support. Any discussion on that item?
Standard mortgage discharge from a mortgage from 2001.
Very good. Voice vote on this one?
Yes, please. Or, I'm sorry, roll call.
Roll call then. We have a roll call vote on that, please.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard?
Yes.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move to approve the remonumentation peer review group members and the remonumentation contracts as recommended by the surveyor.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Dr. Boggs?
So very briefly, every year, the surveyor's work is approved by a peer group that reviews what they've done towards the remonumentation of corners throughout the county. And this is his request to hire his peer review group. It's all paid for by a grant from the state.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard?
Yes.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the May 19th, 2025 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting.
Support.
The motion with support. Any questions on the minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. I move that we approve the L4D29 form as presented to establish the 2025 summer tax millage rates and authorize the chairman and clerk to execute that document.
Support.
I have a motion with support.
So very briefly, this is the tax rate that collects the operating millage that funds about 90% of the county. When the millage started, it was 5.55 mils. Through Headley, it has been reduced. This year, it's down to 5.397 mils. And so it's down about 0.0243 this particular year. And what that means is even though the value of all the land in Shiawassee County is about $2.5 billion, and the increase in the value is about $37 million from the previous year, that our amount that we can collect on it has gone down, but that still realizes about $136,395 of new revenue that will come in as part of tax. However, with rising costs and inflation, it's likely to just keep us relatively flat or maybe slightly up.
Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard?
Yes.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we approve the purchase of a new lawnmower from Alderman's not to exceed $11,279.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Any questions or discussion about our lawnmower?
This is a budgeted item, but it's beyond my spending a lot.
What kind of lawnmower was it? Pardon?
It's an X.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Zero plate.
Any further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Shepherd,
I'm gonna say no.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve resolution number 250505, assigning and delegating enforcement to Hazelton Township.
Support.
Have a motion with support.
So as you know, that planning and zoning is a township function under the law. If they choose not to take that function, by default, it comes to the county, which is why we have a planning and zoning department that monitors it for some townships in the county and not others. Hazelton in 2021 took theirs back, and in March of 2022, Venice Township took theirs back, which is perfectly fine. We are happy when they do so, and they have grown enough to wish to do their own planning and zoning and send it by being default to the county, which saves us money in the long run. Part of that, though, is they are now responsible for all things that were built and designed and approved during that period of time. Now, under the law, that is theirs. However, their attorneys, who also work with us, would like a resolution assigning and delegating that as kind of belt and suspenders. Our legal counsel and Pete, myself, feel they already have that, and there's no harm in passing the resolution that reaffirms what they already have, so that they can go and do enforcement, particularly, I believe, in the solar area.
Any questions about that?
Yeah, if I may.
Please.
The motion said only Hazelton. Do we want to include?
It should be Hazelton and Venice.
Right, I would amend my motion to include Venice.
Oh, yes, not in.
Who seconded that?
Holzhausen, Commissioner Holzhausen.
You second, or approve my amendment here? All right. We
So
are-
was that a yes?
Yes.
All right. On the amended motion, any questions? All right. Resolution.
Roll call, please.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we accept the sheriff's recommendation and authorize the sheriff, county administrator, and corporate counsel to enter into contract negotiations with All Star Towing.
No support? I have a motion with support. We can now open discussion on that item. Commissioners, who would like to get started?
I had a comment, if I could, Greg. When I looked at the towing data, which is extensive, the thing that stuck out to me was the difference between requested and rotation. When I look over this, I was one of those calls that requested a specific, a guy sitting in the room today. And like I mentioned on Monday, I was charged $400 to have that car towed 7 miles after my son's car accident. I'm really surprised that more people aren't aware that they can request towing. So maybe that's something we could work on, that it doesn't have to automatically go to the contract provider. People at that time can make a request. And again, I'm really surprised when you look through these numbers, how low those requests are. But seeing as how I was overcharged, maybe that's why. I don't know.
Dr. Boggs, I believe some research was done, and perhaps it will help the discussion move along. If you would tell us what you found out and put a little context on it.
So at Monday's meeting, Commissioner Howard asked for some data related to towing. So I requested data from the RMS system, which is the management system for the 911 calls. Specifically, we looked at Shiawassee County, and we are only looking at the sheriff's department. So, Durand has their own thing, Owasso has has their own thing, the state police have their own thing. Even though they all go through central dispatch, we're only looking at items that are associated with the sheriff's department and their deputies. There were a total of 624 calls for towing. Of that, 6 were canceled, so they, for whatever reason, I don't know, car started, whatever, they didn't need the car to be towed. Then the remaining is the breakdown of them. Bowden's had 0 requests, but received 23 from the rotation. This is all from 2024 staff, by the way, so the entire year. Brown's had been requested by 4, and the rotation was 33 accepted rotations. Joe's had requested 4 and had 60 accepted rotations. Gaffner's had been requested 7 times and had 225 participations in the rotation schedule. All-Star was requested 12 times and had accepted the rotation 237 times. Now, the number that Under Sheriff Carson gave of 240, those are the number of calls that are involved with what I would call justice-involved vehicles. They're impounded for one reason or another, DWLS, driving while license suspended, DUIs, etc. So there were 240 of those. The number of non-answers in the rotation call when dispatched. Bowden, these are people that did not answer when they were called on the first rotation of the call. So Bowden's 135 times did not answer or did not take the call. Brown's did not 76 times. Joe's did not 13 times. Gaffner's did not 33 times. All-Star did not 41 times. So out of 624 tows requested, 298 were passed on the first call, which is about 47% of the time that someone from 911 called that there was a pass on for that particular tow. The RMS system did not give me more numbers to see if that was multiple dialings on each one or not, but just based on that information. So I provided that breakdown of the information to you. Also, you asked for the scoring tabulation sheets, and those are in front of you as well from the Sheriff's Department. The scores were as follows. All-Star received 66 points out of a total of how many? 70. Gaffner received a total of 51, and Brown's towing received a total of 28, based on their score.
Quick question, just a few of them. The percentage, what would this be, the percentage of non-answer for like the entirety of the calls of 24? Or if you had it, like the percentage?
That would be the 298, that'd be 47% of it.
47%.
47% of the first time that they called, they did not receive anyone. And I'm not singling any out, that's the numbers in composite for everyone across the county, that when a 911 dispatcher dialed, 47%, or 1 out of 2 times, they had to go to the next person in the rotation.
And have one more if that's all right.
Please.
How many other counties, and I may have the terminology wrong, but this would be a sole source contract, right? Okay, so how many other counties in Michigan do sole source contracting?
It's a great question, and I'm a number cruncher, so I'm going to turn that over to the content area experts, that's the sheriff. I just look at the data on this, and I think that it's important to note what is before you is not a contract award. What is before you is to accept the sheriff's recommendation so that the sheriff can bring in that individual, and then the city or the county attorney and myself would negotiate terms of the contract. And that includes price regulations and other aspects of that. The prices in these bids are not the ones that are final. None of them are, because you're not approving that. You're only approving the contract. And I think that's an important note, that the sheriff, under his statutory authority, can change and augment the rotation schedule without the approval of the Board of Commissioners. That's under his purview. However, the sole reason that this is before the Board of Commissioners is because of the contract issue. Only the Board of Commissioners can enter into a contract. And that is the sheriff would like to say.
Greg, could I ask for a clarification on that?
Yes, and just if I may, Sheriff, since you're here, I assume you are willing to answer questions from the board.
Yeah, yes, I will.
All right, so
If you folks think this has been easy on me, you're wrong. This has been extremely difficult. I don't think I've slept in the past 3 days. And the friend that I mentioned was Joe. But I have other friends here too. We have put a great deal of research into this. There are several sheriff's offices that contract with one company. MSP has done it. Many police jurisdictions across the state have done it. I listen to my employees and I listen to my dispatchers. And my number one responsibility is the safety of the community, first responders, our deputies, our police, our fire. And Corey will go into it a little more, but we have done a lot of research. And like Dr. Boggs stated, this is just the beginning. We don't know the next step, what's gonna happen. But I can assure you that every deputy that responds to a crash or an impound or whatever the case may be, they will ask that person if they have a reference. And if they do, you guys are gonna be called. That much I do know. We don't know, maybe this won't work. I can't make everybody happy. I wish I could, because that's my goal. I don't like confrontation. I love this county. I've lived here my whole life. I grew up in the sheriff's office since I was 12. I know the operation. I know what is needed. And if this doesn't work, we'll tear it up and start over. Corey?
I'm gonna continue to stand here because I don't want to put my back to you guys, it's just a cop thing. The prayer tonight talked about doing what's right for the people of Shiawassee County. And that's what the sheriff and I have always done. We'll always put the people of Shiawassee County ahead. And we'll do what's right for them. A lot of familiar faces in here, people that I haven't seen in a while, people that I've worked with. A lot of experience running records. Ever since day one, there's been drama with record company. What we're trying to do is what's best for the workers at Shiawassee County Sheriff's Office and what's best for the citizens. The purpose of this is to eliminate unnecessary things, record inspections, security checks, equipment checks, record complaints, but most importantly, it's the dispatchers. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have 2 people working almost all the time. 2. We've been lucky, we've hired some lately, but for the most part, just 2. When there's a weather event, hundreds of calls are starting to come in. You combine that, except I don't think you guys probably have been to the dispatch center. You combine that with a medical emergency like a heart attack, house fire, whatever the case may be. You've got one person that's tied up, and now the lines are just ringing. Those lines are being transferred to other counties because they can't answer it in time. You've got an injury accident. You're trying to talk to the officer on scene. You're trying to dispatch a record. You're trying to call the record company 47% of the time. Not all. Some of the people here answer, some don't. 47% of the time, people don't answer. So the dispatcher has to call the next person. Somebody's going to get hurt. And like I said, we're supposed to look out for the people of Shiawassee County. That's part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing. The subcommittee consisted of me. I worked in the county 30 years. I have 10 years of experience supervising the record rotation, the complaints, the security checks, the equipment checks. I think I'm qualified. I think I have my finger on the pulse on what's going on in this county. The scoring. You have a company in Shiawassee County that has all the equipment. We would never enter into an agreement with that company if they have an employee that has an issue. And quite honestly, no rocks should be thrown in this room, that's for sure.
Is that an insult to us or what?
It's my time.
Hold on, this isn't a debate time, please.
You have another company, Gaffers, who has essentially subcontracted with two other companies to meet the requirements. PJ's Towing and Joe's. PJ's Towing is out of Lansing. I drove there. Great equipment, nice facility. 30,000 calls a year they handle. Contract with the city of Lansing, Hingham County, Eaton County. 10 different law enforcement agencies. When I went there, I timed it. From Woodbury Road to PJ's Towing, it was just under 19 minutes. For us, so the vehicle lease agreement says that they're going to be on the scene within 20 minutes. So you got two companies subleased by one. PJ's for the heavy duty stuff, Joe's for the lots, facilities in Shiawassee County, and the drivers and the equipment. PJ's, like I said, if it's in New Lothrop, if you MapQuest it, that's 50 minutes to get from Martin Luther King and 496. I haven't been through that area lately. The construction there is terrible. It'd be 50 minutes to get there. So we would have to sit there, or if the expressway shut down, we'd have to sit there and deal with that. So because of the scoring, heavy duty records, the time frame that was looked at, the lot locations were looked at. If you have 3 semis that crash on I-69 and there was a fatal, they all need to go to one location. Or at least in this situation, Joe's has a secondary facility. It's got a pole barn, but there's no fence around it. You might be able to put one inside. Well, what would you do if you had 2? It's just a thought. So all the scoring was looked at. I was fair. And I gave a recommendation to the sheriff. If this doesn't work, then we will try something different. If it's a major weather event, and for some reason All-Star can't handle it, we'll go back to the old rotation process on the computer screen, and these people will be called. But it's time to try something different.
Thank you.
I think our employees deserve better. I think people of Shiawassee County deserve better. And I hope you approve the sheriff's recommendation.
Commissioners?
I just had that.
Hold on a second, I gotta recognize Gary first.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with this. I lived in the county all my life. I'm probably older than anybody else here. I've been a commissioner this is my 15th year. And if there's an accident or weather related on the highway, there could be 10 or 15 cars, and All-Star's going to handle all 15 at one time. You say you can call another one, all these other guys are going to be out of business. So, that's my opinion. So, I guess you got your own opinion, I'll have mine.
That was a question I was answering.
It ain't a question, it's a fact. So, and you're going to call these other poor guys, and I'm been around. I think we'll have a lot of the small guys here do it and handle it. So I could go on and on, but that's my opinion. So.
Commissioner Garber, you had something?
Yes, I did. Back to, there was a mention made of a sole source contract, and I guess that was not my interpretation, because when I look through these numbers, and as the sheriff said, you are not required to abide by this contract unless you're one of those 240 people getting your car impounded. So the vast majority could be requesting anybody in this room.
So
Why
I
they're
guess-
not doing that, I don't know.
I guess the point would be it's a sole source contract for those that don't have a preference.
Right, but why don't they have a preference? And they can have a preference, am I correct? They can, as I did last October, requested one of the people sitting in this room, and it was an all-star. So, anybody can do that. We are not taking away the majority of this business if the community member requests any of the people sitting here.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yeah, that's fine and dandy. I've lived in the county all my life, and I don't know any of the towing company. So how could I have a preference? Who's gonna tow my vehicle? That's the biggest joke I ever seen. When you have an accident, how do you know who it is? I bet you could ask on the street, there wouldn't be one person know who all the towing companies in the county.
They might not know them all, but they'll know a few.
They don't know any of them.
Let's wait to be recognized, Commissioner. If I may add a bit of, oh, did you want to speak first?
Just a couple of questions.
Please go ahead, then I'd like to say a thing or two.
Okay, absolutely. On the previous question, I wanted to just for the record, I looked it up, it's very hard to find on the contract, so that was not meant to be a gotcha question, I was just curious about the data, so that was not. But one other question I had is Mr. Mauer's question, and this, I hadn't thought of this angle, and I just wanted to kind of put this out there, that can prices be added? So if you have a set price, and then can you add additional prices as you go along? You know, because it's when I buy tickets all the time, right? It's like, I think it's $30, ends up being 90 by the time I'm done. Can that
So
occur?
here's how it's gonna work, because if you approve this, it's no longer just the sheriff's recommendation. At that point, the county attorney will be drafting it, and I will be negotiating it. And there will not be a lot of extra frills in it. It's gonna be very clear on what it costs, and it's gonna be controlled, and it will have a particular price yet to be determined
And
as
then,
part of the negotiation.
and then, oh, sorry.
No, I mean, you've negotiated with me. I'm
Yeah.
not an easy person to
Right.
negotiate with, and it will be a process.
And ultimately, when that process is complete and you're able to say, look, we've gone here, you're not budging, is it like, well, we go to the next guy? Is that how it works, or is
No, it
it?
would have to come back here.
It would have to come back, okay.
Yeah, it would have to come back here for the board to decide. So this is just the step to move it towards the contract.
Okay.
I mean, I continually and always try to get the best price for the residents of Shiawassee County, whether it's managing the county, cutting the budget, or setting prices for others to engage with.
And only one more question, I'm sorry, if I can,
Please.
just one more. The geography was discussed on a lot of different angles, and this time, obviously, between Lansing and Lothrop, and, you know, Shiawassee's about 500 square miles. Is one contractor able to, and I don't know this, I'm not in the business, I don't understand what goes into it, but are they able to cover that space? I'm concerned if there's one that's relied and, oops, we can't make it, what happens then? What happens if it can't be covered after that?
That'd be a question.
They wait.
sorry.
Well, it will revert back to the process on it. CAD screen and dispatch, there's a rotation button. You'll click on that, and the companies.
They won't be here.
Rotation will pop up, and they'll be closed.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your answers on that. I'm just trying to figure out some of the questions that come up at the last minute there, but thank you.
I wanted to say a couple of things for the benefit of the public, and also to kind of put in context for the commissioners where we are and what this body does. County government is a very strange thing. It is not a top-down system. We have to remember our sheriff is an elected official. He is elected by the people to run the sheriff's department. This is one of the decisions that the sheriff has within his authority to make. We are a budgeting body. We set budgets and we approve contracts. And we say if the contract comes before it, does it fit within the sheriff's budget? It does. Is it part of the budgeting agreement we hammer out? It is. This is not costing the county any more money. This isn't really, or it should not be. It could be. We could interfere in the sheriff's office. No question about it, we could. We shouldn't. That is my opinion. This is the sheriff's recommendation, and unless we find that it does not fit his budget, or is outside of his mandate as an elected official, or there's some malfeasance involved, it is not for us to be telling department heads how to run their departments. We wouldn't go to the county clerk's office and tell her how to run her office. We wouldn't go to the drain commissioner who is elected and tell him who he should hire to clean out the drains or what specific equipment he should buy. We set his budget, and the same is true with all of the other department heads. Unless there is an extremely good reason for us to deny the sheriff this decision, I don't know if it's a right decision or wrong decision. I'm hearing the arguments on this side, I'm hearing the arguments on that side, but the sheriff was elected to make this decision. And it is my opinion that we should approve it unless we have a very good reason to not do so. And I'm not seeing a very good reason to not do so. That is among what is our purview. We might not think it's a great idea, but it's the sheriff's decision. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yeah, Mr. Boggs said, and deputy said that they're gonna watch it, see how much they spend. What are they gonna, who's gonna watch that? They're gonna have a person on there to see how much they charge. If you charge 10 cents too much or $1, you're gonna be out there, who's gonna investigate? You're gonna go out there and investigate all that?
Contract will be canceled.
Yep.
Contract will be immediate.
Who's gonna watch it? Who's gonna watch it?
It'll be part of the sheriff's department.
Yeah, but they're all buddy-buddy. Who's gonna watch it? They charge an extra $20 or $50, so.
Commissioner Shepherd, please.
I've heard all the debate over the last few days, and I give respect to everyone's opinion. I just ask that I have respect in this Board of Commissioners. As a board, it is our job to represent all of our constituents, not just one or two. We all know the towing issue has been around for years. This is just the most recent effort to award a sole control to one towing company in the county. It is bad policy, and it could very well be a bad mistake. There are many problems with this contract, but the most important is the economic impact that it will have on all the people who have come here tonight to ask us to vote for no. It is bad public policy again. The agenda item before us is an authorization for the sheriff, Dr. Brian Boggs, and the county attorney to negotiate a contract. In doing so, the contract becomes client, attorney, working product, and confidentiality. To negotiate a contract, in doing so, the contract becomes client, attorney, work product, and exempt from FOIA, and can only be disclosed by a court order. This again could be very bad policy. The process surrounding this contract should have been transparent and public, considering the conflict from a couple years ago. Apparently the county learned nothing from the past. I'm aware there may be violations or mistakes with the RFS, or the RFP as it's been called, process in itself, and the responses. I'm not going into those right now, but I am having serious concerns. If this contract is awarded, it is extremely likely an injunction or a lawsuit will soon follow. I can't comment any further on that right now. Yesterday I did a bit of research and fact checking, looking at calls and non-response as it appears. It isn't often calls go unanswered. There are some, but not many. In fact, there are instances that All-Star has appeared to be non-responsive as well. The documentation exists that back it up. The sheriff said the RFP RFS is an attempt to fix problems with non-responsive calls at the county. dispatch, but our dispatchers are highly trained to address occasional non-response when it happens. Our dispatchers are simply the best, and they do an extraordinary job every day. I am on the Central Dispatch Committee and have heard nothing about the non-responsive calls at this time. This statement by the sheriff may be an excuse for RFP, but I don't believe the problem exists. To make it clear, I did not speak to dispatch, I used other resources. My limited fact-finding also disputes the sheriff's numbers offered in the Finance Committee on Monday. The total number of tows, as understood, is over 400 per year, or whatever it is, with the amount number being just closer to the 240 that he offered. And that's not the total amount of tow calls for accidents in this county, has been clarified here. It does not account for deputies and MSP calling a tow from a personal cell phone. It could be as high as a couple of thousand. The real issue is giving one tow company total control and economic access to business in our county. I used an accountant to estimate the value of exclusive rights to tow in Shiawassee County. This person came up with about $2 million per year. That number is based on insurance claims with estimates of storage and impound fees. This was a quick estimate, which may be in fact not be exact, but it is the best I could do in such a short time. In effect, the board may be voting on an $8 million contract. This is very bad public policy. The value of the contract is not important for this discussion, but it is important on the impact of other tow companies. $2 million per year is a lot of money. A lot of money, I said. Enough money to vote no and strongly send a message that the entire process from the beginning to the end needs to be redone and much more transparent. And it must be disclosed to the public. To do otherwise is, again, bad policy. Some tow companies did not get the RFP. The general public didn't know anything about this contract until word got around. I may have been the person getting the word around, but gee whiz, somebody's got to do it. It is bad policy to keep the public in the dark unless Good Old Boys Network is still alive and well. So at this moment, I'm asking my fellow board members to look at every person who came here today to ask you to vote no. You are voting to take away a part of their income. Many. Yes, a vote might cost them their businesses. This no vote will prevail in keeping their businesses. Don't look down or away. Look at the people who are impacted by the contract. Move it forward. Small businesses are struggling, especially since COVID. We lost over 9,000 small businesses in this state alone because of the COVID mandates. Small businesses are struggling now, and I don't think we need to negatively impact them to benefit one favored company. Small businesses built this country. They are the backbone of this country. You give billions of dollars to one person to create a monopoly, and that's what they're going to do. Send the right message to our friends, neighbors, and constituents. Simply vote no. And after looking at this package, I think you guys should really consider that.
Commissioner Haley?
I have a problem here. I hear two different things, and I don't think what some are saying is going on. What I hear from one side is saying, we are locking in a contract that cannot be broken, and it's going to wipe out everyone, but yet I hear another side saying that if it doesn't work, the contract goes with it.
There's a third side, there's not even a contract in front of you. There is no contract.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is I don't think that's what we're hearing here. I think we're hearing about, my understanding is, you have you go to the lowest bidder. The lowest bidder is locked in, that's who we go to, that's the lowest bid.
So,
If that doesn't work, yeah, go ahead.
so essentially what they've done is they've turned in an RFP. It has been scored based on that. What they're seeking is permission to then begin entering into the process to negotiate a contract. There is not a contract before you. You are just selecting the bidder to begin the contract process. And I estimate the value of the contract at about $128,000. If you take 624 calls times about $200 more or less, that's $128,000.
That's wrong.
And so I was hearing from the sheriff's office, if it doesn't work, what happens?
If it doesn't work, he can cancel.
He has the authority to do so.
He could go cancel and go back to the rotation.
Our vote is not preventing him from doing that. Okay.
The rotation's gone.
Again, if I may,
Yep.
this vote is whether we are going to override the elected sheriff's decision on how to run his office. Do you want to set a precedent where we're going to tell the department heads, the other elected officials, full-time officials, we're a part-time body, we do budgeting. This is within the sheriff's budget. It's not even a matter of agreement or not. Are we going to override the elected sheriff, the people, I hear a lot of things, the people and the constituents. He's elected by the whole county to be the sheriff. This is his decision, who goes on road patrol and when, and how the jail is run. Do you remember when we changed the food service and so on? Sheriff's decision. Same thing happened with the previous sheriff. I didn't necessarily agree with every decision, and I may not agree with some of the decisions that some of our other elected officials make. We're a funding unit, and we better have a very good reason if we're going to set a precedent to start interfering with the decisions of elected officials. If the people do not like how the sheriff is running his office, the people in the next election can put a new sheriff in. Are we going to take on the responsibility now of deciding how the sheriff runs his office? This does not violate his budget. It does not violate his office. I don't see any violation here with what the sheriff has decided. Again, I'm not saying yes or no whether it's a good decision. I understand what he's saying, I understand what other people are saying, I understand what Commissioner Holzhausen is saying, but I have not seen an overriding reason why we tell the elected sheriff why he can't run his office as he sees fit. Commissioner Holzhausen.
You're talking about elected official. I was elected drain commissioner. The former board of commissioners, they wanted me in jail because of the way I run the office. They wanted to run it, and it was the same situation. So don't say it never happened because you wasn't around. I've been around for
I didn't
years.
say it never. I'd say it shouldn't have happened.
But it did happen. So
Okay, and
So-
you didn't like it, did you?
no.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to have the back and forth. Commissioners, anyone else would like to be? All right, then we shall move on to a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
No.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard,
No.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I knew it was going to pass and you didn't say anything. So
I move to approve the minutes of the May 19th, 2025 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion regarding those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Haley, may we move on to you?
Yes, looking for a motion to approve the replacement of one sheriff road patrol deputy not to exceed step one.
Support.
A motion with support.
We had a deputy leave, it's a budgeted position, they moved up north.
Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that for the approval of the replacement of one executive assistant for pretrial services at a grade 4.
Support.
Got motion with support, same thing.
Again, this position, this person left the workforce, it's a budgeted position as part of the grant.
Further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move we approve the replacement of a juvenile caseworker at a grade 7.
Support.
Motion with support,
Same thing, you lost.
same thing. Got it. Further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move for the approval of the filling of a part-time, not to exceed 20 hours a week probate guardian ad litem position.
Support.
Motion with support. A little bit more to this one.
Yeah, so this one is currently being done by a retired attorney. It does not need to be an attorney position, it's a contracted position. By doing it at a non-attorney fee, we'll be able to keep the funding in the county instead of using it elsewhere. This would be a part-time position, 20 hours a week.
This is one of those times, very unusual times, when it's actually a bad thing to have too few attorneys.
You can never.
Okay. Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Shepard, Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move the approval of the filling of an IT position for central dispatch at grade 12.
Support.
Motion with support.
Now, this is a new position that will be a contracted position, non-union. This is to help with additional tech and related issues, vehicle locating, mapping, GIS, application support. And it's probably a better title for it is application support, but the IT position is the working title. Eric and myself in the draft contracted it well. The sheriff's department will be
Coming out of whose budget?
911.
Ah.
The general fund.
All right. Anybody else? Roll
If I-
call vote.
if I
Yes.
could, I just want to
Commissioner Garber.
reiterate what we talked about in committee. I have sat on that board, I think for 14 years now. That board is made up of emergency personnel from all over the county, fire chiefs, police chiefs, and it was thoroughly discussed and vetted before we brought it here, so.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
I missed who seconded that.
I did.
Thank you. Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move for the approval of resolution number 250506 for submission of the county community corrections grant and allow the CCAB to take necessary steps for submission.
Support.
Motion with support.
Grant renewal was passed this afternoon by the CCAB board. The next step after it passes this board is to be submitted to the state. It's a renewal of the grant, and community corrections works with individuals that have been arraigned and before they have been sentenced. And it is an alternative to incarceration for some individuals. There's a scoring matrix that is done on each individual that is arrested and then is given to the judge to make bond determinations or to assist them in making bond determinations and providing them information on their background. It will become required at some point in the next few years, but currently the state is able to provide us funding for it.
And if I may say one other thing about what it does, there are two sides to that coin that occasionally these pretrial investigations we find, I was told by, at this same meeting, that occasionally we find things that there are open cases and no-shows and so on that would tell you that this person might be a risk, and we need to be much more certain. So it can go both ways. Sometimes it says this is a guy we need to let go back to his job, and sometimes it might show that the judge may decide this is somebody who needs a very high bond or not even to get out of jail.
Or tether.
The tether too. The tether's been very successful, hasn't it?
It's essentially
I suppose I should be asking
type
the
of
sheriff that.
probation, if you will, to put it in parlance that you would know about, that happens before the end of it.
Any further questions on that? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move for the approval of the integration agreement, Part 1, between Shiawassee County and Michigan's Public Safety Communication System.
Support.
I have a motion with support.
This is a renewal of an agreement on, it's called Part 1 because we have one tower, and then we will have a second tower, but essentially we are turning over the tower to the state police, and as a result, they pay for all maintenance, technology issues, in exchange for being able to piggyback on the system as part of their radio control. It's a better deal for us in the long run. This one is a renewal. You'll have a second one of these coming to you once the second tower is complete.
All right. Any further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
Move for the approval of the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any questions on the minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, thank you, Commissioner Haley. Commissioner Garber, you are up again.
Thank you. I move that we approve the proposed Materials Management Committee bylaws as presented.
Support.
Motion with support.
So bylaws are required for the materials management plan that we have to turn into the state along with some other documentation. They have yet to pay for the materials management plan, so we're at a halt until then, but these are one of the requirements to begin the payment. Corporate counsel and myself did review them. Corporate counsel made some recommended changes. I presented them to the materials management board. They accepted those changes, they approved them, and now they're before you for final approval.
Further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the appointment of Jerry Haber to the Community Mental Health Board.
Support.
Motion with support.
There's a vacancy.
There are actually 3 vacancies over there. I had thought I had found 3 good people for community mental health. Unfortunately, I didn't realize the statutes. You can only have so many government officials, so I had to pull 2 of the nominations. So I'm still looking for 2 more people. I think I've got 1 more person I will ask you to approve next month, but it's difficult. We'll find someone though. But Jerry is a good guy. He'll fit in well. I think probably most of you know him.
He's a very good guy.
So
Yes.
Dr. Ghazi, Kamal, going to be considered for next month?
He was one of mine that I had. Unfortunately, I asked Jerry first. He is an elected official, so sadly, I had to pull his nomination. I called him and offered him huge apologies because I didn't know that, and I assured him that if another government person resigns from that, we have a pretty good turnover on community mental health, that I'd keep his resume. He seems like a very good person, very enthusiastic, and very knowledgeable. I think he'd be an excellent addition to the Community Mental Health Board, but we have to unfortunately follow I shouldn't say unfortunately, we have to follow the statute for community mental health about who we can appoint to the board. There's certain representative requirements on that board. It gets a little complicated, so I had to pull that and 1 other person's.
So the other openings, just general public, or?
Sort of, yes. There are other requirements that have to do, some of them have to do with, for instance, certain relationships you've had with mental health, whether it's personally, sometimes it's a family member. You have to look at the openings and see what slots are missing and see if you can find somebody to fit in to it. If you're interested, I could find out specifically what the requirements are for the 2 open slots. Gary?
Yeah, I know it's kind of full. I think we have 3 county commissioners on it and 2 other elected officials from the county on it, so we got it pretty well stacked.
Yes, so that's why we couldn't add more.
We tried.
All right. I think I can do a voice vote on that one. All in favor of approving that appointment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that appointment is approved.
I move that we approve the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
All right, at this point, we have comments from myself. I don't have a lot. I wanted to let you know as we approved that materials management thing. As you all know, the state has kindly thrust upon us requirements coming up in the next few years to do some mandatory recycling, but they have yet to let loose with the money they have promised us to make the plans for that. So we've had a couple of meetings that are required in order to get the money, but it's my intention to do very little work until the state actually comes up with the money they've been promising us in order to make a plan. I have a suspicion, Commissioner, you probably could actually talk to this more, that some of the fervor for doing this might be waning, and you never know if in the future the state legislature could change its mind. So we don't want to spend a whole lot of time and money coming up with a big recycling plan if it's not going to happen. So that's really up in the air. We have many of the same problems. I'm sure Gary and Cindy can agree with this since we're on community mental health. The state and the feds are really, really causing us a lot of problems, and there are a lot of financial difficulties. You're going to see big changes in community mental health. I talked to our Congressman Barrett, and I kind of made a pitch for that these are the most vulnerable people with mental illnesses. They are the last people in the world we should be cutting. We all know that the federal government has spent like drunken sailors, and things are going to have to change. That's going to mean cuts coming down probably for the rest of all of our lives because of the debt up there. But we should be very careful not to make cuts to people who cannot go out and get a job and support themselves. So I made a little speech there. Land Bank, on a positive note, is doing some great stuff. We've got some development deals. We had a groundbreaking recently out at Washington Park. There's some other things in the work. I'm going to a MISTA meeting around the Housing Administration. MISTA is one of those things that annoy me terribly when they're telling me there are no cuts. MISTA's sitting on $80-some million, and they haven't been able to give it away, believe it or not. So while I am somewhat disgusted with that, however, that is the way things are set up. That's the way the game is played, unfortunately. So we are going to be doing everything we can, cut requests from the county, requests from the land bank, and so on, to bring some of that money into this county to do certain housing improvements, infrastructure. There's even some money for people of low income to help them make improvements on their house, roofs and insulation and windows and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that we can bring some money into the community that way. I'd rather they left it here to start with, but since the money has already gone on a vacation to Washington and Lansing, it would be nice if we could bring some of our money back home. That is about all I have. I know it's been a long meeting, so I'll stop there.
You have one more thing in front of you.
Oh, I do. Thank you for reminding me. Here, let's pass these out. Let's see. That's for Caroline. Let's see. That's for would you pass that down to Commissioner Shepard, Commissioner Garber, Commissioner Howard, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Holzhausen, and Josh.
Just like a gift card or something.
Just, Caroline, could you step to the middle, please? Look at that look on her face, like she's going to kill me.
The middle?
Yes, please stand up here, face everybody. We have, come over here. And here, we have the Sunlight Award. It says, this certificate is proudly presented to Caroline Wilson, Shiawassee County Clerk, in recognition of your outstanding dedication and exemplary service in responding to citizens' requests for information about elections with speed, accuracy, and professionalism. Your commitment to transparency and efficiency strengthens public trust in the democratic process and upholds the highest standard of civic duty. It's from the Michigan Fair Elections Institute, presented to Caroline Wilson, and well deserved. You know that. Congratulations.
It's been a lot of work. But
I wish it could be a bag of money, but that's all I have.
And all of you received a letter, just to say look back.
I think everyone that has dealt with Caroline would agree that we have one of, if not the best, county clerk in the state.
Oh, thank you. Vote early.
How are we doing on that mural?
May 31st.
Marvelous,
Supposed to happen if the weather cooperates.
marvelous. Yes, Commissioner.
Going back to the recycling program,
Oh.
I asked Larry just the other day
Hand that down to
if
Caroline.
this recycling plan might take place at Great Lakes Fusion, since how they've got a good amount of placement, and they're pretty much centralized in the county. Will there be any idea of villages for this program, or is it going to be all state funded like we're hoping?
I can almost guarantee you that it will not be all state funded, which I don't like. The Great Lakes Fusion is definitely involved in the planning. In fact, the Cook Foundation has a recycling group that is that meets right. In fact, they meet. I think we meet again tomorrow on part of the DJ route portion. It's been broken up to try to work with the county on developing recycling plans and seeing how they can help because of this. My understanding, and I hope I'm not wrong on this, is that the statute allows us to, that is this board, to assess a per household fee. I don't remember the amount.
It's like $10. It's low.
It's fairly low, but it does add up, and we'll have a decision to make on that, because if this does go through, I guarantee this recycling is going to cost the county money. Having collection sites, we have to man them. You can't just leave them open. All of that is going to be part of the planning process, and right now we haven't even started. We got quite a while to do it. They did give us quite a while to do it. They didn't tell us do this in the next 6 months. We have years. So that, I don't know a lot yet, to be honest.
That's a lot of 2x3 recycling bins to have to produce for every household in the county.
Well, no, the county is not, the city is going, the city of Owasso, any city of, I forget what, but the city of Owasso qualifies, they have to have curbside recycling. The rest of the county, we're only required to have a certain number of collection sites. We will not have to do curbside recycling for the whole county. But we will have to keep recycling sites open for a certain number of hours each month. And we got to work out what we're going to recycle, how it's going to be paid for. It's quite a monumental task. But we've got our materials management board set up. It's very well represented on the board of community people that are involved in this. But again, the state hasn't given us a dime yet, even to start making our plan. So it's very much in its infancy. I wish they'd either give us the money or cancel the whole thing, but Dr. Boggs.
Yes, just a couple of quick things. I'd like to introduce Tyler Caesar, who is our intern, unpaid intern for the summer. He gets to spend his time with us. He is a student at SVSU and studying government and economics and is very interested in how the county works. So he started his internship with us today. He was one of the people I had crunching some of those numbers earlier. We are working on several land bank and brownfield grants, hopefully totaling over $1 million of money that we can bring into the community for different programs, including housing, some developments, some infrastructure related items. The audit will be presented to you next week, or next month. We're in the process of finalizing that. The bond, we will have a bond meeting coming up soon on Pleasant View related to the selling of the bonds. That continues to move forward as everyone is doing their due diligence for that process. And finally, all of you received a memo from Larry Johnson about the health department, and you are aware that we cut $4.8 million out of that budget over the last month due to some grants that are no longer in existence. Part of that includes the entirety of the school nursing program and funding from the state. So, and that is all I have.
All right, thank you very much. We now have the second opportunity for the public to address this board. Would anyone like to do so? Please come forward. I see you filled out a slip for me. Thank you. Would you hand that to the county clerk, please?
Oh, this is my notes. I already gave you one. Do I have to give you
Oh.
another one?
Just tell me who you are.
Richard Mauer.
Okay.
That'll be fine. Please go ahead.
Well, the first thing is the sheriff wasn't elected, he was appointed. You keep saying elected, but he wasn't elected. He was appointed by the old guy, right? Right. And it's not the drunks that we want, it's the accidents. You go get a drunk, $150, $100 storage, but you go to get an accident, everybody here knows that. It's a $300 record bill, maybe flip it over, drag it out of the ditch, $500, 30 days of storage at $50, that's like $1,800. And that's what we're arguing about right here, right, you guys? We're not arguing about a couple of drunks getting picked up and helping the sheriff's department. Then when you call people that don't answer, that's because they listen to the radio. And they found out that it's a shit job and they don't want it, so they don't answer the phone. Period. That's all there is to it. I've been doing this towing for the county since 1980. Ain't nobody in here got no longer than me at it. Then when they called us, somebody's at Walmart at 1 o'clock in the morning, a poor girl, and her keys are locked in the car, and she ain't got no money, there's 3 kids in there. Well, other people don't answer the phone, but we always did. We go and unlock them out for free. Just to help the sheriff's department out. We never even got a thank you. All we got was a finger. And get treated like this. And and I went to get on the rotation again a couple of years ago. And the detectives came over and they told me, like, well, your fence here is 6 foot tall, but you got one section over here that's only 4 foot tall, so we're not going to let you on rotation. And like, when I pick up a car, I'm responsible for it. I tow it back. I take care of it. My insurance covers it. I cover it. I deal with the people. It ain't none of you guys' business. It ain't none of the sheriff's business. It ain't none of their business at all. They call me. I come do a job. I got the equipment. I got the insurance. I got the license. I take care of it. But now he wants to take over the whole job away from everybody. All these people here. I don't know about you guys, but if Goki didn't answer the phone one night, I wouldn't come and help you guys to save my life. And I'm pretty sure most of these guys just might agree with me. And you say everything this county does is straight. Remember me, Richard Mauer, false terroristic threats. You arrested me, you put me in jail, cost me $30,000. My name's on the newspaper all over the nation, all over everywhere. I get death threats and everything else. And you guys say this county is like honest? Then it comes the day to go to court and they say, never mind, Mr. Mauer, forget all about it. After 2 years of getting threatened with 20 years in jail and all kinds of stuff, death threats, calls at the house. And when our prosecutor hit somebody and drove home drunk, he didn't call to get his car towed, did he? No, he stayed at home. He turned himself into himself the next day. He didn't go through all the stuff. So you guys thinking, and the only person we got to protect us against people like that, and the judges and the prosecutors who aren't completely honest, is you guys. And you guys say like, oh, we wouldn't want to question nobody. So like, we're disappointed in all you guys. That's pretty pitiful, is all I got to say. So you go ahead and do what you want.
Anyone
You already
else?
showed how crooked you were already, and how one-sided and how crooked you were. You guys-
Because I didn't finish, and I actually not gonna.
Just state your name again.
Joe Maria from Joe's Body Shop. I just want to make a couple quick statements. Number one, Doug knows what we talked about, exactly what I said was going to happen, happened. And I already knew that. Corey, I love you, but Joe's doesn't have a fence around that lot because I'm not going to spend $35,000 on a fence if I don't know that I'm doing the towing. So the fence would have came if we would have got the contract. As far as PJ's coming out of Lansing, I could be wrong, not sure, but I think All Star is also partnered with Northside, who's coming out of St. John's. So there's a distance there too. That's kind of disingenuous, I think. And the last thing is that tow that I keep hearing about, which I really didn't want to say anything, but I'm gonna. The tow that someone keeps talking about is we towed was a request. The Sheriff's Department has a sheet on what we charge. It's a standard sheet. What we charge you is a standard sheet. What you fail to mention is you didn't have insurance on the car. You never paid the bill. You gave us the title so we could scrap the car. And that's what we do with a lot of people. The reason that sheet is that way is because the drivers have to be paid. And they get paid by what they do. We go by what that sheet says and what we turned in. So we didn't overcharge it. If you think we did, come and see me. And we can go through it. But I looked at the records, and the records show that we ended up with the car, you brought us the title, and that was the end of it. And that was fine. But scrap is not going to give me what that was. So we eat it, and that happens a lot. That's my statement. I don't want it to sound like we're overcharging, because as far as I know, you can check with them. I don't think we've ever had a complaint for overcharging. And there's a lot of people that, if they can't afford it, a lot of people don't have insurance on their cars. You know, you have a standard rate because you're trying to cover what everything costs. We work with them. We won't charge them storage. Some won't. Just bring us the title. We'll scrap it. I just want to get that out there. I've been in business for 32 years. My reputation is pretty good. I don't want to impede. If there's a problem, come see me. And we can talk about it. Love to handle it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
First of all, for Mr.
Please state your name.
Rick Oakey from All Star Towing. For Mr. Holzhausen, these guys all have separate businesses, not just the towing business. They have successful body shops, they have auto repairs. So they're not going out of business for a couple calls, for one. So let's get that washed out. I have a separate business. The record business is not solely our business. If we relied on record calls, that we wouldn't make it. That's why they all have separate businesses to support them, plus the towing. So I just want to make it clear, and I don't have anybody else that will help me. I have all the equipment ourselves for our community. I don't have anybody coming from Lansing or anywhere else to come. So I just want to make that clear. Thank you.
That's completely false.
Anyone else?
Bridle your mouth all you want, so.
My name is Jim Brown, Brownstone and Duran. Been doing this 48 years. The only thing I wanted to bring up, that was one of the things I wanted to bring up about. Half the calls we do, we never get paid for. You spend 2 hours out there, and then you get to take it to the junkyard and get whatever there. The first 25 years I was in business, they didn't pay you when you went to the junkyard. You just did it. So it was a service you provided to the county. There's a little bit of money in it now. There was a bunch, like 7 or 8 years ago, I had 3 new towing companies open up in Duran, population of 5,000 people, you know. There wasn't enough to go around, I can tell you that. When the price of scrap went down, they all left, they're gone. But the analogy I was talking about the other day, I should have wrote notes. I don't like doing this. this is not my thing. But when I was saying, if you buy a restaurant for $300,000, you're off and running. If you buy 2 tow trucks that are average priced about $150,000, you got $300,000 tied up in all the other stuff you have to do. About 5 or 6 years later, when you're paying that off, guess what? They're vehicles, and you use them hard. You turn back around and you spend $300,000, or of course it's going to go up. And the part of the business that pays for that are accidents from people you don't know. I appreciate being able to get requested and go help my friends and my family and neighbors, but when you have a towing company, it's going to be the guy that didn't have any money, helped him out, and he tells his friends, and it's not a very profitable. I mean, I appreciate it, but it's not a profitable part of our business. I'm wasting my time. I don't know. I guess that's all. I'm sure that when I leave, I'll go, man, what did I say? I guess
you.
That's all I need to say.
Anyone else?
My name is PJ Daly, D-A-O-I, my fellow sheep right. I just wanted to do a quick recommendation. I work with 10 police departments, some based out of Lansing, and I know you guys made a mention about your call center and about how stressful it gets and how busy everything gets. I don't love it as a solution, but we use a program called Curbside, Curbside SOS, and I know it doesn't cost the county any money, but they dispatch everything digitally, and we get like a robocall in the office, and then they'll send us an email, and then we have an app up on our computer, and it tells you the stuff. So dispatch can cut and paste that information, transfer it over. They never have to call our office. And then all the drivers have an app on their phone. It's a free app. You download the app. Once my driver hits en route, that gives that dispatch confirmation. They can GPS track my driver to how close they are to the call. So now your guys aren't going to have to call back and say, hey, how far out's my record? You can GPS and see it. So it's a free service that's offered to you guys, and I just thought it'd be a good recommendation. We use it for Ingham County, we use it for Eaton County, the city of Lansing uses it. We do thousands of calls a year through it. It also takes a little protection for the police departments too. So just want to recommend it. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right, that'll be it. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.
Because I voted no, I got a target on my back from a small star from the sheriff.